obstruct your ascent. They also can help to stabilize you. The conditioning comes to you from the matter with which we are dealing every day. When a human being sees a matter, he addresses it. And he wants to use that matter for his own purpose. He changes the forms of the matter for his own purpose. He starts getting used to matter as comfort or as a help or a guide in life. The more you start depending on matter, the more your spontaneity is finished, because you are dealing with the dead. Matter, when it is dead, then only we deal with it. When it is living, we are not so much bothered about it. So the deadness of that matter settles within us when we start using that matter for our purpose. But how are we to otherwise exist is the question people can ask if God has given us these material things and this matter to be used. Are we not supposed to use them? And are we not supposed to enjoy them? But we don't enjoy really. Before realization, you cannot enjoy any matter. You can only form a habit and may become a slave of that matter before realization. It's a fundamental principle of economics that wants in general are never satiable. Means today you want to buy something like a carpet, alright, bought it. So now that carpet becomes a headache because it's your possession, you have to look after it. You have to insure it, you have to worry about it that it doesn't get spoiled, first of all. And secondly, you really get into another mood of buying something else. Now you have bought the carpet, finished. Then you have to have something else, then you have to have something else, then you have to have something else. So it does not satiate you. It does not give you the joy. Matter can never give you joy. It's the spirit that gives you joy. And when the ascent takes place, then you become the spirit. Then matter takes another value system within ourselves. The value system of matter is very different. As I am sure Jason must have told you, that when you get your realization, then you start feeling the cool breeze in the hand. In relationship to matter, it's very helpful to be realized. Because immediately you know what is good for you and what is bad. For example, you eat something that's not good for you. Immediately you lose your vibrations or will become hot. Even looking at it may happen. You want to sit on a chair on which somebody who is a very wrong type of a person has sat. Immediately you feel, oh, something wrong in this place. With your vibration, which is a definite thing and absolute thing. And this conditioning can only be over. These habits can be overcome only if you become the spirit, because spirit is always dominated by the matter. And the spirit has to overcome that domination of the matter. Actually, spirit cannot be dominated by it. But what I mean is that it is covered, like the sun can be covered with clouds. In the same way, all our domination, or we can say all our enslavement of the matter makes us dominate our spirit in the sense that we cover it. The clouds, we can't see the spirit, we can't feel the spontaneity which is the beauty of the spirit we do not feel in a person. So in judging a person, what do we judge? How that person looks, what dress he is wearing, how he walks, what are his formal ways, does he know how to say thank you, sorry or not, you see. All these things impress us very much. What sort of a car he has, what sort of a house. Maybe we may miss a saint. We may miss Christ again because he was a carpenter's son. How are we to know who is Christ? Is there any way of finding out who is Christ? Many people are now talking, Christ is going to come, he's going to come on the television. You can put up anyone there as Christ. How are we going to make it out? By his dress or by some sort of a thing they have done? Most of the paintings of Christ and most of his statues that I've seen are nowhere near Christ. Nowhere near Christ. They are horrid things. I don't know, what are they? So how will you make it out that this is Christ or not? Or this is some sort of a hocus pocus fellow or some sort of a person who has come just deliberately to delude us from reality. There is no way out to find out what is the truth, because we are so much used to material forms that we have. For example, our idea of art also is in the same way molded. We like this kind of art. If you ask why? Because, this is this kind of a thing, harmony, or maybe this is more proportioned and all that. But how do you know? Because you've read certain books, or maybe that you have understood from somebody else that this is art, this is beauty. You brand something as beauty, but is it really? If it is beauty, it should be spirit, because spirit is beauty and beauty is spirit. So is it beauty? How do you make out that this art is beautiful or not? For example, according to all normal ideas of womanhood, I don't think Mona Lisa is a beautiful woman. The way these days you see mosquito-like women are regarded as beautiful. So how they call Mona Lisa so beautiful? What's in her? Thousands of people would be assembled to see that painting. Why? What is that? Only vibrations will tell you that it emits vibrations. It appeals to your spirit without your knowledge. You are not aware of it. It appeals to your spirit. That's why universally that painting is appreciated. But when this conditioning becomes collective, any such conditioning becomes collective, and you accept this is the form that is beauty, this is the form that is reality, this is the form that is spontaneity, then the confusion starts. The confusion starts at that point, when it becomes a collective thing. For example, I met some people or some gurus. When I asked them, what makes you think that your guru is truthful? What has he given? He said, because sitting in my chair I just start jumping by myself. I don't do it, but it happens, it's spontaneous. And in my presence, the way his body was moving was so horrifying. Anybody would have tremendous compassion and concern for such a person that who can't sit for 5 minutes.
Excuse me, it wasn't spontaneous, it was nervousness.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But
You're very wrong in what you talk.
What?
About everything.
From where do you come?
Up the road.
That's it. Better go.
Don't worry, I am.
Look at that. We'll go to the pub now. Must try to understand the subtleties, you see. If you are confirmed with what, now supposing somebody starts jumping in that thing, and he says, and she says it's 2 nerves. That means you are not in control of your nerves, isn't it? Don't you think so? You are not in control. You are not control. Spontaneity is a thing which is not a thing that makes you a slave. This is the point I am trying to make. It doesn't. It makes you your master. Spontaneity must make you a master and not a slave of it. She must have come from TM because TM people jump like that. And they end up as epileptic people. I have cured so many of them. I don't know if someone has come from there. Even the head of their academy in Scotland, the Flying Squad Academy as they call it, where people paid 3,000. Now this gentleman sitting here is one of them who suffered. When they suffer, then they know what it is. The other day we saw somebody with epilepsy of such frequency, the poor child, he was hardly 26 years of age, young man, supposed to enjoy his life, was going into such trauma you can't imagine. And if this is happening to somebody going to a guru, you paid for it, how can it be anywhere near spirit? This is what I am trying to tell you. That spirit gives you spontaneity in which you are the master. You are the master of yourself. Complete master. No enslavement of any kind. No habits formation coming. All habits stop. You become so spontaneous that I don't have to tell you. You just drop out all habits. Then you become a master of yourself. That should happen to you. Instead of that, if you indulge into things which enslave you, you may like it for a while because you can't help it. But if you really sit down, you will know that it's not the thing that you wanted. You wanted to be the master of yourself. Now here in this map, as is shown, we have two powers, left and right powers. The left power is the power that gives us conditioning. Left side, the subconscious, the collective subconscious. That gives us the conditioning. Now, if you try to deny all that, then the right side is even worse. It gives us action, but with action, we can become very ego-oriented. So both ways, it can be troublesome. Supposing you say that, all right, I have no conditioning of any type, what's wrong in doing this, what's wrong in doing that? And if you just move with that idea, with that freedom, it will be abandonment, it may not be freedom. Because freedom must have wisdom behind it. So both the sides, the movements on both the sides are wrong. So what is alright in the center is not to get conditioned by anything and not to be ego-oriented. But how to do it is the problem. The problem is how to do it. To be spontaneous is to be absolutely free. Now I would consider these two powers as say a brake and an accelerator in a car. Now you use both the powers. You use the brake first, you use the accelerator, you try to control these two powers. But first of all, it is difficult to understand how to use these powers. Gradually with practice you know how to drive the car, you become the good driver. After becoming the good driver, still you are not the master. But then you become the master. So today the master within us is the spirit. But before realization, we are not the master. Because the master has not come in our conscious mind. It is not expressing in our conscious mind, in the sense that we are not empowered by its powers. The spirit exists, it has its own powers. But we haven't felt those powers within us. Once we feel the powers of the spirit, we are empowered by our own powers which are there. The powers are within us. These are our own powers. We don't have to borrow from anyone, ask from anyone, they are in ourselves. The spirit is within us. Only thing that spirit has to give light in our consciousness. It has to come in our consciousness. In simple medical terminology, we can say that the spirit must manifest itself in our central nervous system, so that we should know what we are doing, not that we start just jumping on the on the chair, or some people said, oh, you just start doing it. It is a process. It's not correct. You are not in conscious mind. You are doing it out of a process. A process may be coming from outside force. It's not your force, your awareness, your understanding, your power. It is somebody else's because you are not doing it. As matter has a power to overpower us, in the same way, there are some material things, I should say, which are very dangerous, which are faced. For example, now cancer. Take cancer. Cancer overpowers. It's a very serious thing. Cancer overpowers you. You cannot overpower cancer. Take a very concrete example. Now, how is it caused? Doctors say this way, that way. Surge Yoga can cure cancer. Definitely 100%. It can cure. It has cured. Many Surge Yogis have cured cancer. How? It's very simple. That you become master of your son and you master the disease also. You master everything. Because the master is within you. It has not come in your conscious mind. It's the only link is left. And when that happens, yoga takes place, union takes place. We should now completely keep ourselves limited to self-realization about God. I'll tell you next time. Self-realization means to bring your spirit into your conscious mind. Now, how cancer is caused? Let's see here. What happens? It is caused by left-sided activities. Now, left-sided activities are emotional traumas, emotional problems, emotional upheavals, emotional insecurities. Any kind of insecurity can take you to the left side. Little more movement can be these horrible gurus because they hypnotize. They put you to the left. They put some spirit in you, or I don't know what they do, but they put you to the left. Any one of these activities which are not authorized by God, taken to, you go to the left side. Because you cannot ascend in the center. So either you go to the left or to the right. When you overdo these things, like black magic, you have another thing here I've heard, some sort of a organization had. And the fellow, you see, he used to, everything he saw moving in the house, he came to Surge Yoga and his water jug was moving there and this was moving there, and he couldn't explain what was happening in his room. He was sitting down and he found something moving from here to here. It happens. What is that? What is that doing, this kind of a thing which you cannot control? Again we come to the same. Something you cannot control. So you enter into the realm where you are controlled and you are not under your control. And that realm, when you enter in, I have always seen all the cancer patients are the ones affected by this. Most surprising. They are not aware. They do not know how they get into it. For a lady, supposing say she's suffering from an insecurity about her husband, or maybe something, or maybe she thinks that her husband may leave her any time, she loves him, whatever it is. Such a woman might get a breast cancer. Because the insecurity is set in one of the centers there, which you can see here, the center of the heart. Center heart as we call it. Now if this center goes out of order, if a woman feels insecure for anything whatsoever, she's capable, she's vulnerable to be attacked and she can get into cancer. So we have to understand life in totality and not in one way. The total impact of life, the total effect of life, the total relationship with life must be understood. Now no doctor knows this. Will he know? When he treats a patient for the, say, breast cancer, will he know that this lady is insecure? There's another disease, anorexia. Many girls suffer from. They don't just eat, they just give up eating. Now, you do not know why it happens. Doctors can't cure it. Nobody can cure it. What is the reason? The relationship of a girl, of a daughter with a father. Say father dies, and the daughter doesn't see the father. Or in heart she loves the father but she doesn't express it. Or there's some bad relationship that comes between the father and the daughter. You get this double anorexia. You'll be amazed. But it is impossible for doctors to get it. We have some doctors sitting here. It is impossible for any medical science to go near. Because they do not see a human being in its totality. It's a very delicate instrument God has created. The way we are harsh with others, the way we sometimes try to trouble others, try to make others feel insecure, or unfair, unjust, without our knowledge, we really give them a tremendous insecurity. And such insecurities can work out incurable diseases of which we are not aware. So to understand the totality, what should happen to us? We should achieve that state where we can see the totality. Like if I have to see now, for example, the whole of Brighton, what should I do? I should go on a plane and see it from that height. I can see the whole. In the same way, in your awareness, in your understanding, you should rise to that point from where you can see the whole. If you cannot see the whole, the partial vision, or we can say a little that you see, can create confusion, can create problems, and some of them could be of a very, very serious nature. Because as human beings, we do not know what are we. This is the greatest problem of human beings, that they say, I don't like it. Now which one is this I? Is that your spirit or is that your ego? What is the part that is not liking it? Or is it your conditioning because you are brought up in a particular way so you don't like this? Which part of you is not liking it? And you will be amazed that it is not your spirit. Because if spirit likes, how will you know? It's only through your vibrations. When you can feel the vibrations, then only you will say, yes, my spirit likes it, because the vibrations are emitted. So we are still in a transition state as human beings. We have not achieved that state which is called as the state of self-realization, where you become the spirit. The becoming is the point. When you become the spirit, you know what you like. You really know what you really like. Because you are now the reality. You are not any conditioning. You are no more any ego, but you are what you are really, and that is your spirit. And surprisingly, this spirit is a collective being. It's no artificial collectivity within us. That also, alright, we belong to all Brighton, so we are one, or we belong to one street, so we are one. It's not like that. But it's something that you are, absolutely, you are a collective being. And you start feeling that collectivity within you, with these different centers working it out. And you can feel it, others. You can feel others on your fingertips, can you believe? In the Bible it's written that your hands will speak. The description of these days is that your hands will speak. Why not people go and find out what does it happen? How can your hands speak? This is what happens, that on your fingertips you start feeling and understanding what is reality, what is beauty, what is joy, what is love. This is the left side which we get, and ultimately with these left side problems we get physical pain. It's very painful to have left side problems. It's very, very painful. The pain cannot be explained, no one can understand, nobody can cure it, you can't tell anyone, and people think that you are fussing, they give you a psychological treatment. You just don't understand why this pain is within you. And this pain comes to you from left side, the subconscious. So beyond the subconscious is the collective subconscious. And this collective subconscious is the one where whatever is created from the beginning up to today in the creation is within. And once you go to the subconscious, you just get lost there. You are so overpowered by this power of subconscious that it is beyond you to understand it, beyond you to get out of it, and beyond you to not to succumb to it. And it goes on increasing. Like I asked the people, why did you go on doing it? When you knew that you were not doing it, somebody else was doing it, still why did you continue to do it? They said, Mother, we were under a blanket. It was darkness. We didn't know where we were moving. And we were just going on and on and on. And as I told you last time, feeling guilty is the biggest blockade. It's the biggest blockade. Because once you start feeling guilty, that the center on the left gets blocked and it's very difficult. And you don't know why you are feeling guilty. All the time you are feeling guilty, but you don't know why you are feeling guilty. Why these ideas of guilt are coming to you. That this feeling of guilt keeps you away from joy, from enjoying anything, from being spontaneous. Why? And this explains why we sometimes are miserable for nothing. Actually, God has not created us to be miserable. He has made us so beautifully, so carefully. He has created us with such love and compassion not to make us feel miserable, not for anything. He doesn't give us any diseases, no problems. But we have done these things to ourselves by going to extremes on the left or the right. As I am today talking about only on the left, I would say that to feel miserable for nothing at all is also wrong, is being unjust to yourself. The people who are left-sided must know that they are the spirit, that they are that beauty which has to come, which has to express itself, that they are not the people who have to suffer all the time and to live like miserable people. They are not. But because they take so much upon themselves, bear so much upon themselves, they become like. And to avoid that bearing up, they may take to some other habits. Many people take to alcohol also for reason because they can't bear the pangs of life. They can't bear. That's why they take to. But once the spirit is awakened within you, you become so strong. You become so joyous, so spontaneous that all these things drop off. All those things, so-called diseases, so-called habits, just drop. And you become a new blooming personality. Now, the basics of having this center within you, you can blame God for that. Why did He give us these centers on the left-hand side? What was the need? He should not have given us this left-sided one, so we would have been just in the center to go. But the trouble is, the human beings have to know in their own freedom how to deal with themselves. They have to learn little hard way, the wisdom. They have to know by going to extremes, they have suffered. They have to realize it. Because if they have to become truly, absolutely free, they have to rise in their wisdom. If they are not wise people, then they cannot enter into the kingdom of God because they will be abandoned people. Say, people who are abandoned, who don't understand any laws and regulations, if you get them in England, we have to put them in jail. In the same way, human beings who have not got that wisdom within themselves, through sufferings only one learns, but we should not ask for suffering. When we ask for sufferings, we are asking actually for mistakes to begin with. How will you suffer if you do not commit mistakes? So when we ask for sufferings, we are committing mistakes. So what we should ask for is nothing but our spirit. And if you ask for your spirit, it is your own, and you have to get it. It is in your own right that you are going to get it. It's no way that I am obliging you or doing something special for you. It's all there. You are like a light which is just to be enlightened, because I am an enlightened light. And you become an enlightened light, and you can enlighten other lights also. It's very simple. If you become an enlightened light, you can enlighten others. You don't have to bother about anything else then. You become an enlightened light yourself. That's the point. It is all there. It is all your own. You have to just have it. It is as simple as that. There is nothing very complicated as these people make it, or anything that these philosophers have put before you. Nothing of the kind. It's very simple. It is within you. It is spontaneous. It is a living process. As in living process you have become human beings, you are going to become superhuman. It's absolutely spontaneous. You can't pay for it. How can you pay? I mean, they're absurdities. If it is a living process, how can you pay? How much do you pay to the tree to grow up? I mean, in anything living, do we pay anything? How much do we pay our nose to breathe? Can we pay for it? It's absurd. It's ridiculous. The way we pay for it, we cannot. It's a living process. You have to become, an egg has to become a chick. Now, how much do you pay to an egg to become a chick? Or how much does an egg pay to the mother for becoming a chicken? It's that ridiculous. But we never understand that living things are so spontaneous. We never see living things. We live with matter, with the dead, not with the living thing. If you start watching a tree, you start watching a flower, how it becomes a fruit. You can't even watch because it's done so slowly. You can't even watch a flower becoming a fruit. Suddenly you find all coming up. Like when I came to London from India, I found all the trees were bare. Absolutely like dry sticks. Absolutely like dry sticks. Within a week, what I find is the green coming up. Within the second week, it was all lush. Can't believe it. We never even notice. We take it for granted. It's happening. How does it happen? It's a miraculous thing. If you see it is miraculous. How these flowers, for example, the particular flowers are only on a particular tree, another are on another tree. How does it happen? Who chooses them? Who puts them in proper shape? Who organizes all that? And this is what one has to realize. And that is the all-pervading power of God that does all the living work. And once you become that spirit, then this power starts flowing. You feel the power through you, as Christ was touched and he said some power has gone to someone. Like that. You just become a medium of that power through you. But you are empowered to maneuver it, to manage it, to understand it. You know completely about it. You know how to give it. You know how to work it out. You know how to cure others, cure yourself. You know the complete working of your machinery. Apart from that, you get the powers to overcome all the problems of your own machinery also. It's so fantastic. The whole thing sounds very fantastic because we have never seen this before. But to us it doesn't sound fantastic when we see all these flowers suddenly turning into fruits. It doesn't sound. But we see human beings turning into fruits. Then it sounds very fantastic. How can that be? It has never happened before. Only one person would get realization, and it was such a difficult thing and nobody got it. How is it today? I say it is the blossom time which is being promised, which is being already prophesied. Even a great poet in your country, William Blake, has prophesied. He said these times will come when men of God will become prophets, and these prophets will have power to make other prophets. I mean, nobody could be more precise than Blake, I tell you. He was so great to say this will happen, and this is what we have to expect when we go to anybody for seeking. Have you become prophets? And what is a prophet? Prophet is a person who is a collective being and who knows all about it. Who is the master? We call Prophet a master. And that's what you have to become, the master. And that mastery is very simple because it's all built within you. Just it has to be connected. Like anything like a television set is to be connected to the mains. It's all built in, it's there. It just starts working. In the same way, you are that. You are that. Just it is to be connected. Whatever may be your caste, community, race, nationality, shapes, heights, anything, whatever it may be, makes no difference because all of you have got this great thing within you, this power of a rebirth. And you are to be born again and you will be born again. Why not today? There's nothing to get angry because people get angry sometimes because they don't like anybody telling them about something of which they themselves are feeling bad. They don't like it. For example, if there's a drunkard and he drinks too much, he's an alcoholic, he doesn't like it, and he feels bad, and if somebody tells him, even in the most gentlest way, that you better give up drinking, he doesn't like it. But what I am saying is not that you should not do it. I said it will happen, that it just drops out. I don't say you don't do this or don't do that, but it just happens. And you must first understand what is the problem and how the problem is overcome. That's why I have to talk. Otherwise there's no need to talk about it or it just works out. It just works out because you are just ready to have it and you just get it. I don't do anything. I'm just a catalyst, I should say, that it works out. I hope you'll ask me some questions about it first before we go in for any realization. If you have any questions, please ask. You must ask. Yes?
Is there any difference to what you understand it as saying and to what say Guru Maharaji?
Who?
Guru Maharaji.
No. I'll tell you one thing. When you talk about any guru, I don't want to go into controversies. Alright? That's first thing I'll tell you. But I will tell you to ask yourself or ask anyone, what has he done for anyone? Has he been able to give you any power or anyone the power? Alright? Now I can tell you all these who are here, who are realized souls, who are here, they are just like you to look at. Of course from face you can make out that they are very relaxed and very happy people. But they can cure people. They can give realization to people. They understand everything that is wrong with you and with themselves also. So what has he done to your awareness? Nothing. Now, his disciples, what have they achieved? You ask them, where is the kundalini of this person? What is the problem of this lady? Or what is weighing upon her mind? They won't be able to say. If you cannot even make out what's wrong with another person or with yourself, how are you going to help? All such people, what do they do? Let us see. Simple thing is that they can't mesmerize. You may feel happy for a while. It's just like drinking. If you drink, you feel happy. But by drinking, what have you achieved? Have you become master? All of them are like that. You see, and this gentleman is so obviously, because he asked for Rolls Royce. What is a Rolls Royce for a prophet? I mean, what does it matter? You see my point? This is so obvious. I mean, this is so logically obvious. First of all, anybody who takes money from you is a parasite. Simple as that. And to ask for Rolls Royce, of all the things. So you see, you have got Christ. You can see from Christ's life. Will you care for your Rolls Royces? To such a person, he's a king. He doesn't bother. Whether he has a Rolls Royce or not, whether he sleeps on the ground or not, it makes no difference. Such a person doesn't care for anything. Because he is in comfort. He's got his own comfort. He is a man of self-respect. Didn't he really ask for anything whatsoever? I mean, it's so obvious. For you people it is so obvious, but when I talk to some people of this guru, the particular one you are telling me, they said, Mother, we give him the metal and he gives us the spirit. Can there be an exchange? Can you purchase your spirit? Use your logic. Alright? God has given us brains to understand. Logically we can understand. Can you purchase the spirit? Isn't it so simple? We can't pay for it, my child. We cannot. If you want to give me a flower, alright. It's just an expression of your love. And that's all. But you can't purchase me. You can't. Your love can purchase me, alright. That's different. But you can't purchase me with metal and money. What is a Rolls Royce? I mean, I don't understand. What are all these crowns and things? What are they good for? They don't give you joy. Go and ask the people who wear the crowns. Yes, the other day I was with a statue putty. She was so miserable. Yeah, she was. I tried to sort of put her down, her vibrations. She was very miserable. We were just across the table talking to each other. And what I was doing was to balance her poor thing. She's very upset. So you must understand, you are two simple people. You are seekers of ancient times. You are not seekers of today. You are seekers of ancient times. And this time has been promised to you before also. And now you have to find it. Now you must keep your logic straightforward. I mean, anybody who asks for Rolls Royce, I mean, this is one of the stark examples I would say, cannot be anything. Is a stark example, absolutely, one of the. But there are subtler ones. It's not so subtle. You will get out of it in no time. I know all of you. But the subtler ones are even worse. Some of them may not even ask for money. May not. I don't know of any, but there may be some. Because I heard about someone who doesn't now take money in India. He has made money here, and now he's gone to India, and he doesn't take money from them. But the one who has really not taken money, one person whom I know, has been using women. He's not interested in money part. He's using money. Women. You see, so this is what it is. You must understand. His interest is not in your spirit, but in your person, in your women. How can holiness be combined with these dirty habits of people? That means they themselves are under the control of their desires, which are anti-God. These are all anti-God activities. And you people being so simple-hearted, I tell you, you are so simple-hearted. If you tell an Indian that the Guru takes a Rolls Royce, he said, they immediately they'll answer. They know this guy. How can? Nobody will give to any Guru in India. Gurus have to pay people sometimes. First to entice them. Westernized Indians is different, but those who are really Indians, you see, they are people live with the mothers, and they know what is what. Nobody can be fooled. They're very practical people. Yes, my child.
Can you be healed through faith?
Huh?
Can you be healed through faith?
Oh, the faith is two types. With what we call in Sanskrit is Shraddha. It's different from what you call as faith. In English they use it as blind faith and another as faith. Alright? We can make it like that. Now, the blind faith is this, that I have got faith in God and God will heal me. This is one faith. Alright? Another is a faith which is enlightened, where I say you are the spirit when you are connected. Now, if you say that I have faith in God, you shouldn't feel hurt when I tell you the truth, alright? Because if it is a blind faith, means that you are not yet connected with the power. Not connected. See? Now supposing I start saying, Christ, 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 Christ. Christ is not in my pocket. I can't even meet a Prime Minister or a Queen without having a protocol or a connection or some sort of a position or we can say a authority, isn't it? Now when we talk of anyone like that, some people go saying Rama, 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 Krishna, Krishna. You see, these are all incarnations, and Christ is the Son of God. He is son of a king. And you just can't meet him. You can't just call him. He's not at your beck and call. He's not your servant. Alright? Now, to having faith like that when you are not connected, if you are healed by some other agencies, not by Christ. But if you are a realized soul and then you are healed, then it is done by Christ. I'll tell you a difference, a very clear-cut difference of healing. We have in England, I don't know now if you have that one, it's an organization called International Curative Center of late Dr. Lang. Now this Dr. Lang was dead. I mean, he was late. But he had a curative center. You see, and this gentleman died. And he possessed a man in Vietnam, a soldier, not his own son, but a soldier. Now this soldier was told by this fellow, I mean they are very honest people, being English they are honest and they tell the truth. See, they don't say that we do it through God or anything. So he told that there are many doctors, I hope the doctors won't mind, who have died and who were very ambitious, are still wanting to cure people. And he should go back to my son and tell him all the story that I have come in you, and my son will believe. So he said, how will he believe me? He said, no, I will tell you some secrets which only he and me, both of us, share. So he definitely believed. So this fellow agreed. He was a very healthy fellow. Actually this spirit entered into him when he got into a certain shock. Something he saw shocked him in the war, and this spirit entered. And he was carried by that spirit somehow or other to England, where he met his son, and he told the whole story. And the son had to believe because he knew so many secrets. And they started this curative center. Now how do I come to know of late Mr. Lang? It is the thing. They cured a lady who was in India. Long time back, it was 1970, I'm telling you. And she came to see me, and she was all shaking, she's like this. I said, what's this? She said, I was sick with a certain disease, and I was afraid of an operation, and I came to know about this organization. I wrote to them, and they wrote to me saying that at this time, on this date, we'll enter into your body. Openly, I mean, they don't say that we are God or anything. We'll enter into your body, and you feel a little shaking, doesn't matter, and you sleep off, and we'll work it out. But she said, I got cured of that disease. But after 3 years or so, the whole body started shaking. And she couldn't bear it anymore, and she came to see me. That's how I came to know about Dr. Lang. That this poor lady was tortured for 3 years. She suffered so much. And then she came to see me. So after Mr. Lang entered into her body, Dr. Lang, it was after 6 years that she came to see me, because 3 years she was all right. After 3 years it started. And that's how I came to know all the spirits that had entered into her, the doctors and all that. It was a horrible case. Of course she got cured later on, no doubt. Because when you become the spirit, you are in your fort. Nobody can enter into your body. You become something which doesn't get contaminated, doesn't get overpowered. Nobody can dominate. And that's how she got cured. So with faith, if somebody says, oh, you will be healed, you see, and they start shouting and screaming and this and that, and suddenly you might feel, maybe there's a spirit. They replace also sometimes these spirits. It's very surprising. They can replace the spirit from one to another. I've seen such cases also. All kinds of things I've seen in spirit. The other day, only about 8 days back, wasn't that, Hari? When this charismatic fellow came in?
Something like that.
8 days back, in France, a gentleman came in. Young fellow, must be about 24 or so. He got into such a big agitation, he started crying, and funny type of a thing that I've never seen a spirit enter into. Whole body was shaking, and he fell down, he started crying, weeping, all sorts of things happened. And he said that I went to charismatic movement where I got it, and many get it. And they think Holy Ghost has entered into them. Now just imagine, how can the Holy Ghost make you Mr. World? I don't know from where these ideas come in. And poor child, he suffered so much, now he's alright. But he couldn't believe it, that he could be alright, because he thought, and then they say these are your sins and you have to get over your sins, and this is why it's happening to you. You still have done bad karmas and this and that. But your bad karmas and all those things can be solved when the Kundalini rises. There is a center for this specially, which is really being adored by Jesus Christ here. Did you tell us about this center?
Didn't quite get that far.
Alright. So this is the center, and when the Kundalini passes through that's why they say that you have to pass through it. He gets awakened, and when he gets awakened, all these two pouches you see there of ego and superego, your conditioning and all your left-sided problems and right-sided problems are sucked. That's why they said that he died for our sins. He is described in the ancient Indian scriptures as Mahavishnu, but see, the missionaries went to India, they gave a very wrong picture of Christ, absolutely a wrong picture, so they were still expecting Mahavishnu to come in. And this is what it is. He's supposed to be, according to missionaries, somebody who sort of converts people and all that nonsense. It's not the real thing that he's to be awakened within us. He said that. He said, I have to be born within you. And that is what it is. When Kundalini rises, she awakens that center within us, and all our conditionings and egos are sucked in. A space is created here in the fontanelle bone area, through which the Kundalini comes in, and you can feel the cool breeze from your head coming out. That's what it is. And you feel it in your hand. It's not just that you are mad after someone. It's not like that. It's not that way, you see. Nothing of that kind. You become a self-respecting, normal, dignified personality of great spiritual value, which you are. Alright? So this is what faith is, and what is blind faith is. Yes, my child?
It seems very difficult, the concept that self-realization doesn't involve some personal effort. Can it really come to anybody irrespective of how materialistic they are?
Yeah.
Am I understanding it?
Yes, it appears on the face of it very difficult, and how people are materialistic is also true, no doubt. But spirit is much stronger than the matter. And when it has to express, it completely crashes on that, and it comes. Now, we have here, most of you are English people, I should say, westernized, very materialistic people they were. I should say, living in that world. They may not have been that materialistic, because if they are not seekers, they would not come to me. But a new being has been born. If you look at an egg, you feel that what a hard stuff is this. But if it is broken at the right moment, with the right understanding, it becomes a bird. Because the living process is on, only the last breakthrough has to take place. Apparently it looks difficult, but to me it is not. Perhaps I know the job. Alright? Yes, it looks like people have said all kinds of things about Kundalini also. I must say, some books I've seen are all You see, if you don't know the job, everything, supposing that somebody doesn't know how to drive a car, you see, and he gets into the car, the way he described it would be horrifying. You'd never go to get near a car, isn't it? It's like that. The one who is not authorized and who does not know the job should not do it. But that's what happens to you, that you become the spirit, you become your own master, and you become the master of this art. The master of this art. Yes, my child?
You made reference to nurse earlier, and you also said of yourself that you regarded yourself to be a Catholic.
I couldn't hear you. Can you, what did you say?
You mentioned hypnosis earlier, Mother. And
What?
You mentioned hypnosis earlier, and you also said that you regarded yourself as a catalyst.
Don't you think that the hypnotist also regards themselves
Yes, very
as
true.
Catholic?
Yes, no doubt.
Themselves.
Yes, that's true, but the difference is this, that a hypnotist brings you under his power. He doesn't give you any power or no new dimension to your awareness. You see, there's a tremendous difference between the two. You see, you have got your own power within you. Say for example, alright, your spirit there. Now I am a catalyst. You see, you can use a spoon for giving a poison or could use it for giving the nectar. Alright? So if you give the nectar, then it's a great thing, and if you give the poison, it's horrible. It's like that. Now the hypnotist uses hypnosis. How does he hypnotize? It's the point. What he does is to push you into your subconscious, into your collective subconscious, where he overpowers you. You are under his power. He says, you become like a child, you become like a child. You suck a little bottle, you do it. What's all this? But here you become a spirit in the sense that you become collectively conscious. It's not hypnosis, because you yourself can feel it. Now say example, you take 10 children who are realized souls. There are some children who are realized souls, even little children. And you take them near a person who is suffering from some trouble, alright? Now you tie up their eyes and ask them, what's the problem of this gentleman? They will raise the same fingers. All of them will raise the same finger saying, this is burning. You see, because the sensation you feel, your burning, of numbness or of cool breeze. A new awareness of a vibratory nature is born within you, not with hypnosis. On the contrary, after hypnosis you feel so dead and finished, as if somebody has been riding your horse. It's just the other way now. And you start growing into you and understanding. You can cure people. You understand what are the centers that are catching. You understand what are the centers of another person that are catching. In the beginning, sometimes people have confusion, I've seen, that they don't know whether these are my centers or your centers. But we have ways and methods by which you can discriminate. You can see which are your centers catching and which are the centers of the other person catching. You also know how to get them all right. You also know how to give realization to others and to empower them with their own powers. It's just the opposite. But catalyst could be horrifying and catalyst could be just heavenly.
Is it something that a person can self-realize themselves through their own effort entirely?
With their own effort?
Yeah, or is it necessary?
Oh, I don't think it's possible. You see, because like a light which is enlightened can only enlighten another light. But what I'm saying, that even supposing, like Buddha, you see, he got his realization when he was absolutely tired and he had to have it. Of course, the Holy Ghost did that. He could not have done it on him. But he got the realization there because it was a different circumstance which he had to live. He didn't have to talk about God. He didn't have to talk about the whole thing. Because people were so much engaged in talking of big things like God and about all kind of deities, this, that. There was a big confusion. And somebody was to be realized at that time who would just localize it and say only self-realization. Don't talk of God or anything, forget it. That's why he got a realization like that. But you cannot get a realization just like that. Only position you can get. You cannot. Somebody who is an enlightened soul, such an enlightened soul doesn't take money from you. Not money, you see, people don't want to give a realization. 99% those who are really realized, they'll throw stones at you, they won't have anything to do because their experiences of human beings are horrifying. If you go and talk to them, they'll tell me, they've told me that wait for 12 years. See, mother, they will all finish you off, they'll kill you, they'll do this. It's very venturesome to deal with human beings because they're very egoistical and they will never accept. But if you take like this, like somebody who knows is a head, isn't it? And realization is not possible. It's not possible to be done by yourself. It's not possible. Because if say a candle which is not enlightened wants to get itself enlightened, the light has to be brought. It's so simple as that. But one should not feel bad about it actually. Say I don't know how to drive, somebody drove me down here. I didn't feel bad that he had to drive me down. Did I? And I only know one job. I don't know many jobs I don't know. I don't know how to operate bank. I don't know how to write a check. I'm hopeless in many things. I don't know how to open a can maybe, but I know how to open a kundalini. Alright, so if I know one job, why should you buy? After all, we depend on each other for everything, isn't it? So why not? If I know the job, what's the harm? And you will know too. You will know too. But it cannot be done by yourself. But actually in this, you are not obliged for anything. I just do it because I love it. It just happens. I don't do anyway. I'm just flowing. I don't know how it happens. Just flowing. I just love for love's sake. Just, you can't believe such a person can exist. But I do really, I am like that. Sometimes you might even, some of the surgeons do feel that I'm too compassionate and that I should be rather strict with people and things like that. They come and tell me some wisdom about it. Maybe they think I'm not so practical. But this is the most practical thing. But I know they make mistakes because they don't know they are walking in darkness. If you are walking in darkness, if you bang at something, the only thing that you can do is to have compassion for them because they can't see, they are blind. Isn't it? How can you have any anger or temper? And moreover, I would request you not to have any misidentification with anyone also. You have to get to your spirit. That's the main thing. If you still think of somebody, see, like the lady, I don't know, somebody might have sent her here. I don't know why she got angry. I didn't say anything to hurt her. Maybe she's possessed. I don't know why she got angry. And she just got up and just walked off saying that you are telling everything lies. Why should I tell you lies? I don't have to get anything out of it. But why it happens? Because she's not sensitive. She's not sensitive to divinity. She doesn't understand who's divine. I don't blame her. She hasn't got the sensitivity. It's a caliber. I've seen surgeries now of different varieties have come to me. Some of them are of such a caliber of continuity. They get into realization, they know what it is, they have the pattern just like a diamond, they get it and they get it. That's tremendous. There are some who slog behind. Some of them who get realization, but still they've gone down. All kinds. Doesn't matter. I love all of them. Yes, my child. What is?
Supposing all realization that we've got bad things, so when she was like, supposing we were just reading our
He's a surgeon.
In the process.
Huh? So what is he talking about?
Well, I'm just saying, with the effects of our karma, will it go away, or will we still get it and also our realization?
What did he say there?
He's saying, Mother, if before realisation we were such a horrible person that we gave cancer to everybody we met or something like this, after realisation, does the effects of that get taken away, or what happens?
Yeah, I know it's so many things have happened. We had somebody in Brighton, you remember, he's here now, I think, who was drunk when he came in. He was very angry with music to begin with. He said, how can I get rid of this stuff? I can't believe you and all that. He's alright, perfectly alright. Change is so beautiful, you can't see it there. And we got He's so sweet now. The other day he came to see me. I said, look at that. He's so sweet. He was a very sweet man. But something had put him up, made him upset, that he had become alcoholic. It's all right. And the compassion can only make you understand that there's a reason for this. He is a very sweet person, very sweet person, no doubt. But something had gone wrong with him. It's all right. So this happened. It's true. Surgeries realize some, of course, I must say, who little bit, doesn't matter. They'll come. All of them will come. I'm sure. Everyone is made for it. Actually, the divine is anxious to give you realization. Much more anxious than you are. If there were 1,000 people today, I would have given them realization better. But very few people take to reality. You see now, that Guru Maharaj Ji, thousands are like mad after him, isn't it? But he's given nothing to them, poor thing. But for reality, there are very few. Like the other day, somebody asked me a question, Mother, why don't you do it to everyone? I said, where are they, everyone? They're busy. Where are they? In this Brighton, how many there are? How many are here? Alright? That's the problem. It takes time for people to love reality. It's such a beautiful thing. And even they get realized, then they drop out. You see? That, oh, I'm alright now, I'm alright. After 1 year they'll appear. That's not the way. You have to master this art. Absolutely master it. It is all free. Absolutely free. Now, they are all sitting down here, they can say that.
We can talk a bit more about self-realization and what's necessary to enhance that.
Yes. I will be in my next lecture, one by one. Now I'm talking the left side, the right side, and then the center, and then also, of course, about the spirit. Definitely, 100 times. That's what I have to do. But gradually I have to build you up. Alright? I will, definitely. You won't believe. I think I've given 500 lectures already in London, at least. And it doesn't end. Every time they say, last time I spoke, they said, Mother, it was absolutely a new dimension you talked about. I don't know. Gary told me first time he touched his vibration so much with my lecture, I don't know what I touched it. So, yes, it's a process. He's from Australia. Australia, doing well. Very fast growth. So, all the questions are over now. Should we have?
What of karma?
Huh?
What they call karma?
Karmas.
Yeah.
Karmas are when you do any work or anything with your right side action, then the effects of that accumulate within you as an ego. Because you think you are doing it, actually we don't do anything substantial. What we do is a dead work. Like as I said, we make a chair out of a dead tree. That's all we do. What work we do is an idea we have. We are doing work. What work are we doing? Can you convert this into a fruit? We can't even put fragrance into it. So this myth, see, works as ego in us, as shown here, which I will be speaking tomorrow about, alright? And this is what is that we think we are doing this work, that work, and this ego thinks that if you have done bad work or good work, you have to suffer. You see, a tiger doesn't feel that way. If tiger has to eat, it must kill. It kills the animal, eats it, finished. It doesn't sit down and sulk, oh God, I should not have done that. I should become vegetarian. It doesn't accumulate any karma in it, alright? But we human beings do. Why? Because we are closed. We are closed. See here, we are closed. They are open. Whatever they do, they are not bothered. But we are bothered about what we do because we think we do. And when, as I said, the center is opened out, he sucks our karma. And the so-called karmas are nothing but sins, you see. In a biblical language, we can call it a sin, you see. And they are all sucked by this powerful deity of Christ awakened within us. And you get beyond it because it is the ego that does the karma. When your ego is finished, whether the karma, they are finished too. Then you don't say, I did it. What you will say, Mother is not working out. It's not going out. Now what is this it? It becomes a third person. It's flowing. The vibration is not coming. You see, you don't say, I am doing this realization. I am raising the full. They don't say so. They say, it's not rising. You become a third person. That third person is the spirit. Where you do not say that I should do it. Even if it's your son, you say, Mother, it's better that he gets realization. Alright, you see, try. No, it doesn't work out. Alright, then should I give a certificate? He said, how can you give certificate, Mother? How can Kundalini have not written? Everyone knows. See, it's whether it's your father, mother, sister, anyone. If they are not realized, they know they are not realized, so what? They just know. And this granddaughter of mine, who was here now, she was born realized, and she was hardly about 5 years of age, I think, when they went to Ladakh. And there was one lama sitting with his shaved head and all that way. Everybody was touching his feet. And the parents also not realized, my daughter has not realized, so she also touched his feet. She couldn't bear it anymore now. It was too much for her. So he was sitting in a higher hillock. She went, put her hands back and looked at him. She turned him. He said, what do you mean by asking everybody to touch your feet? You're not even a realized soul. By wearing this dress of yours and shaving your head, you think you can ask people to touch your feet? Little child of 5 years. They understand. We had once a program in India when they invited me as a chief guest, and this Raman Maharshi, who was a realized soul. And one gentleman from Ramakrishna Ashram, the head of that, was sitting with his big orange robe, sitting there. And my another granddaughter, she was sitting in the front row. She couldn't bear him anymore, so she shouted from there, Mother, the one who is wearing a maxi, their grandmother, please ask him to get out, he's giving heat to all of us. There were many surgeons who were feeling the heat for the fellow, and he thinks he's a very spiritual man. So she just stood up, she said, ask him to go, he's wearing a maxi. She didn't understand it was a robe or thing. Even children know who are realized souls and who are not. If they are born realized. There are many children who are born realized it. The time of judgment, this is the time of judgment. Who's about this I'll tell you later.
Questions.
It's alright, I don't mind. But what happens if you ask too many questions, sometimes it becomes mental activity and may delay the realization sometimes. So I would advise you, if it is not so important, better keep it out. Because you see, answering the question is only on mental level. I'm talking something much beyond. See? So it is something logically, if you have understood me, alright, let's have it. If it will work out, work out. If it will not work out, doesn't matter. I'm here for 3:40 and we are going to work it out. Alright? It is better to keep your mind at rest. Tell the mind, you have asked many questions before, you have thought of many things. Now the time for you to see the blessing of your own. Alright? If you tell your mind, it will rest. It's a wonderful thing, mind is. If the mind knows what you want, if it is the reality, it supports, helps very much. The same mind which can go astray. See, it's like sometimes I like a donkey. Like Christ used donkey just to suggest the mind that if you allow it to go astray, it will take you to all kinds of things. But if you control it, it takes you there where you are. Just make him keep quiet. It's better to keep quiet at mind level. And that's why I answered your questions, because later on when the Kundalini is rising, at that time the mind should not stand up, isn't it, to say that I haven't asked this question. That's why, just to soothe it. There's no need, but just to soothe it down, I can. Alright? So best thing is to get your realization is the best thing. Otherwise this mind is quite a disturbing stuff. It can come at the right time when you are going to achieve your last breakthrough. It may stop. Alright? So if you have any immediate question or by which you are really oppressed, then you must have. But if it is not so important, just give up. Is it very important? Then it's all right. You can realize